number 6 that we just finished up. Moving on to topic number 7, that's Ravens run. The Baltimore Ravens, towards the end of their game against the Denver Broncos, they had the game wrapped up. There was basically, they just needed to take a knee to finish off the game, but the Ravens called a running play, at the end of the game. And apparently the Denver Broncos coaching staff, Brandon, wasn't too happy about this. What's your stance on this situation with the Baltimore Ravens?
I personally loved it, to be honest. I love the footage of the Broncos coaches getting mad and throwing their headsets down, because it's professional football, man. You've got to play the game nonstop. And luckily his players were playing. They had their heads in the game. A lot of their linemen were down. They were ready to play. And so it was just really one of those things where people are bringing up player safety, but the Broncos were ready to play on that play, especially all the defensive linemen. They were down. They were ready. So I don't think anybody was at risk of getting hurt right there. I think they knew a play was happening and were fully engaged in it. I just think the Broncos coaches are a little upset with the unspoken rule of, hey, the game's over. Nobody really has a chance of changing the outcome at this point. Let's kind of go home. But when it's professional sports, you have every right to continue playing the game. And like many other people have brought up, if you don't like it, you've got to kind of stop them. And you have the ability to do that if you're the defense and you want to stop them there on that play. But I loved it. I think the Ravens have been making a lot of headlines this year with obviously the way they played early and not looking so good. And now they're playing great and looking amazing. They're hitting on all cylinders, and they've been winning in some amazing fashion too with Lamar Jackson. But I do think this is a story that for some people it should be a no story, because for me, I don't see why they got so upset. And I brought up the story because to me, I'm just like, hey, they shouldn't be upset by that. They expected it. They should have known it was coming, and it was just a little quarterback sweep that they ran to the outside to finish the game. So it wasn't like they were dropping back and throwing a Hail Mary or trying to score another touchdown. They were literally just running out the clock at that point. And instead of taking a knee, they just did a simple run play with a little run quarterback sweep to the outside. But yeah, if I'm the Denver Broncos, I don't complain about that. I got to get back to the drawing board and figure out ways that I could have won the game and how I've got to win next week. And just bring a different mentality as well, too. I'd be telling my guys, hey, we're going to play 40 minutes here or 4 quarters, end to end, nonstop until the last whistle. And that includes in situations like that. So I think as a coach, there's just a lot of learning that you can have from it and bring to your players.
Yeah, I don't understand what the Broncos are upset about. I think this is stupid. I can't stand when at the end of games, even in Division I college football. I mean, I know it's student athletes, so it's different. But with pro sports, if you don't like somebody not stop, running all over you or throwing all over you, then stop it. You're getting paid too. So. But I did think it was weird. The whole reasoning for why they ran the ball was because supposedly the Ravens had 6, 7, I forget how many games in a row where the team rushed for over 100 yards. And Harbaugh said he wanted to keep that streak going because it meant a lot to the team or meant a lot to, whoever. And then Lamar Jackson came to the podium and somebody said, does that record mean anything to you? And Lamar Jackson said, no, I just care if we get the W. I just want to win the game. Which was awesome for Lamar Jackson to say. But what is Harbaugh talking about? I don't understand why anybody would ever care about that streak or that record or whatever. But the whole thing is just, who cares? I don't understand why the Broncos would be upset about this. It's just one play at the end of the game. It was a run, like you said, just a quarterback sweep. If anything, if I'm the Ravens, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be running Lamar Jackson on a quarterback sweep during a meaningless part of the game. That's what I would be more concerned with if I was the Ravens themselves, not necessarily the opposing team. So that would be my stance on it. It did seem like a pointless run. But if I'm the Broncos, I'm not saying there's an unwritten rule that you can't do this at the end of the game. That's crazy. I can't stand that stuff. I hate it in baseball because it's they have all these unwritten rules. And it's then why don't you just make them rules if you think it's this important to you? And then in football, now you're going to start doing this? No, this is ridiculous that the Broncos are making us think about this.
Yeah, no, like I said, I love the lesson of playing the game start to finish and giving it your all in every single play and finishing what you do too. So finish out the game and finish it out to the best of your ability. So I think the Broncos complaining about this is kind of nonsense at this point. I think they're just more upset that they were obviously going to take the loss and they were going to have that L in the win-loss column. And so I don't think that's anything big. I think I'd be more upset if, like I said, if they were dropping back trying to throw like a touchdown pass to Hollywood Brown over the top or something, then I'd be like, come on, what are you doing now? Like, we're just trying to go home. Like, at this point, like, take the knee or run the ball. Like, let's get out of here instead of throwing the ball. But they weren't doing that. They ran a simple run, little quarterback sweep. I think what you brought up was more important, like putting your quarterback in a situation like that late in the game. I might bring my backup in to run that play and let him do that as well. Or, hey, go Wildcat or something. Put a running back in there and then try that run. But, yeah, putting Lamar at risk, I think, is the bigger story there, to be honest. But, hey, moving on tonight, rocking on to topic number 8. Topic number 8 is